what's the percentage of people that you think live in victimhood in
I'd
their
have to
life?
say 90% or more.
Really?
At every level, I'm a victim of what? Well, my job. If I don't do what they said, then I lose my job. I don't have a job. I don't have any money. I don't have any health care. I don't have any money. And all of a sudden you start to realize, well, then where do I get the money? And then you better start conforming to whoever's going to give you the money. Yeah, at some point, you're not living your life. You're living the program that you think you need to do to fit into the picture. And if you live the program, it's almost all disempowerment. I can't do this.
Right.
This won't happen. I can't, whatever. I'm a victim.
Sure.
And victims, by just saying that, the word is powerless. Victim and powerless, same word.
Right. And what do you think the differences are then between the conscious and the subconscious mind? And I know you've mentioned that.
That's the game. That's the most important whole question you just asked there right now, Lewis, for this reason. The subconscious, I said, is the equivalent of a hard drive on a computer. It can run the show. You push start, it could do things. You don't have to even attend to it. It does it by itself. The conscious mind is the equivalent of who's typing on the keyboard, because you're the one that's putting information into this thing. The conscious mind, and here's the important part. Let's just start with this. The mind is controlling our biology. That's a fact. And I go, but when you say the mind, it sounds like, oh, there's one mind. I go, now that is where it goes wrong, because there are two minds, and they both have different functions. And most importantly, they learn in different ways.
What are the two minds?
Well, let's start with the latest evolution. Right behind your forehead is a lump of brain called prefrontal cortex, the seat of self-consciousness. I am an individual. I am separate from all other individuals. I am a self, and I'm coming from this creative part. The subconscious mind, as we mentioned, that's just a hard drive with programs in it. So I say, so what's the difference between it? Well, the first thing is this. What makes humans so different than other organisms is the self-conscious or conscious mind, because it's creative. It has imagination. I could ask you right now, Lewis, I could ask you a question. I say, tell me what you want out of your life. Well, at that moment, you're going to think, and you're going to say, I want this and I want that. And I go, well, that came from the conscious mind. Now it's creative. That has imagination. That has vision. And if you have a vision, you can then manifest a vision. You can't manifest a vision if you don't have a vision. So conscious mind sets up visions and what we want. But here's the point. And this is the critical, the whole thing is on this one part right now, Lois, right here. And that is this. The conscious mind, which is the creative mind, versus subconscious mind, which is the habit mind. It does habits, as does is program. Program's a habit. Push the button, play the program, push the button, play it again, push it, plays it again. Okay, program. Conscious mind, creator. Okay. And I go, okay, significance of that is that's where your wishes and desires are. What do you want? Oh man, I want this. I want a great relationship. I want a great job. I want great health. Creative. The subconscious mind programs primarily derived from other people before age 7. Okay. And unfiltered. So there are good programs and there are bad programs. Okay. And I go, so creative conscious mind is the one that gives you a destination and a future. Subconscious mind just gives you autopilot. Okay, back to the crux of the problem. Only 5% of the day is the conscious mind actually engaged in creating. And I go, then what's it doing 95? I get 95% of the day, it's thinking. I go, so what does that mean? I go, imagine your body's a vehicle, steering wheel, conscious is holding the wheel and driving us to where? Wishes and desires, man. Okay? I say, but if I start thinking, then conscious mind is no longer looking out, because thinking is inside. It's a thought on the inside. I said, well, if you're thinking, then conscious mind is not looking out. I go, well, what if you're driving the car and then you start thinking? I go, conscious mind, let go of the wheel. I said, oh my God. I go, don't worry. Why? Subconscious mind is autopilot. Whatever you're not controlling with your conscious mind, subconscious mind throws a program in and does it. Okay. Now, the issue about that is, well, if the conscious mind is thinking, is it observing what's going on? I go, no, to observe what's going on, it has to look out the window. It can't be looking inside. So 95% of the day, it doesn't even observe your own behavior. I said, but where's that behavior coming from? I go, the program. I go, well, yeah, but where did that come from? I go, somebody else. And I go, what's relevant? Well, if they didn't put your wishes and desires into their life, then you copy their program. You're not going toward your wishes and desires, you're going to wherever their program is going to. That's how children follow in the footpaths of their parents, especially like musicians. A musician who's a parent during the programming of their own child instills them with all the music and stuff like that. Then a child grows up and guess what? Now they're a musician. People say, the music gene. I go, there's no music gene. There was training. For 7 years, training to be that. So the issue is 95% of our life is not coming from wishes and desires. It's coming from programs which came from other people, and you don't see it when it's happening. And I go, why not? And I say, why are you playing a program? Because I'm not paying attention. I go, well, that's why you don't see the program. And I go, and then 95% of your life is program. And then the relevance about that is 60% of those are disempowering or self-sabotaging or limiting beliefs. So it says, then 95% of the day you're running your life and you're the only one that doesn't see it. I go, well, that's the big issue. I go, the same story for 40 years. It's been in all my videos, but I got to do it again because different audience here.
Yeah.
You have a friend, you know your friend's behavior very, very well. You're really, good friends. And you happen to know your friend's parent. And one day you see your friend has the same behavior as their parent. So, you got to tell, hey, Bill, you're just like your dad. Back away from Bill. I know exactly what Bill's going to say all the time. Bill's going to say, how can you compare me to my dad? I'm nothing like my dad. The audience laughs. Why? They're familiar with it. I go, you want the profound story of the day? That's the profound story. I go, what does it mean? Everybody else can see that Bill behaves like his dad. The only one who can't see it is Bill. Explain it simple. Yeah. Bill downloaded these programs from his dad. Yep. When does he play them? When he's thinking. And I say, and how much of that? I say 95% of the day. I say, does he see the program? I say, no, thinking is inside. He's not looking out. Mm-hmm. So Bill's the only one that doesn't see it, and he got it from somebody else. And so it's not his behavior, and he could be sabotaging himself, and he's the only one that can't see it. Because why? Because he's thinking. And I go, okay, you ready? All of us are Bill. Right. All of us every day are Bill. We're playing the same programs. We look at life going, oh man, that's not what I wanted. This is not really good. And I go, where's this coming from? Well, those people are causing, this people are causing. And I go, no, you're the creator. Didn't see what you were creating with. And when we get personal awareness of this, then personal empowerment is the next step, because now it's like, well, if I'm doing this, then I'm the one that can change it. And I go, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what the whole point is. And this is why all your programs, Lewis, are so involved with. Wake up, people. It's time to take the power back and become what you want to be in this life, because you don't realize you're playing programs that are sabotaging you all day long. And you don't see it. You're the only one. And right. So that's the big wake-up call. So it says, well, what can I do? And I say, well, you could just not play the program. I go, that's not easy to do. That means you can't think. And thinking is so fundamental to everything. So it's very difficult to say, I will stay mindful. That means I will not think. I will stay here in the present mind and pay attention to what's going on. I go, great, but it's very difficult to do that. So I say, well, if you're not going to stay mindful, then what else can I do? I said, well, then change the program. And if you change the program, then 95% of the day, if you put a program that's your wishes and your desires, then 95% of the day, you will be manifesting that when the program is running, and plus an additional 5% when your conscious mind is running it. So that would be 100% of the day you would be moving toward wishes and desires. But you have to look at the program. That's why we announced. I say, what's the program? Look at your life. What do you want to change? What's not working for you? The difference between us, it's just a set of receptors. I look at your liver cell, I look at my liver cell, I go 99%. They're doing exactly the same thing. But you have Lewis receptors, I have Bruce receptors. I say, but the receptors are antennas. I say, and they're on the outside of the cell surface.